Well, Congress will have its hands full as it kicks off a new year. The new session will begin with the swearing in of dozens of new lawmakers in both the upper and lower chambers. The return to the Capitol comes just over a week after Congress passed a new $1.7 trillion long-term spending plan, narrowly avoiding a government shutdown. CBS News political correspondent Caitlin Huey-Burns joins us now. Caitlin, it's great to see you. So let's talk about Congress and their top priorities when they return at the start of the next session.
Hey, Deborah, great to see you and happy holidays to everyone. Well, Congress is going to be very different than we are used to when they reconvene January 3rd in this new Congress, because it's going to be divided government. That's the first time President Biden will be governing in that kind of atmosphere. Republicans controlling the House and Democrats keeping control, gaining one seat actually in the Senate. So as far as the agenda goes, these are two parties that have very different views on what to do next. Republicans have campaigned on fixing the economy, making things, financially better for people. Can they deliver on some of those promises remains to be seen. They have also said that they want to use their investigative power, particularly against the Biden administration. And so we are going to see the various committees, particularly House Oversight, launch investigations into the president, his administration, particularly DHS Secretary Mayorkas, and also into perhaps, as they have indicated, Hunter Biden, the president's son. So in terms of policy, they have to do the basic jobs of funding the government, raising the debt ceiling. Those are tall tasks in divided government. But in terms of other policy measures, much harder to get things passed, and we're going to see Republicans try to flex their muscle when it comes to investigations.
Absolutely, and they've certainly been talking about that for quite a while, Caitlin. So let's talk about Republicans. Of course, Kevin McCarthy hasn't officially won the role of House Speaker. So where does he stand in the process? What does he need to do? What do you think is going to happen there?
Yeah, Deborah, 218 is that magic number we've been talking about. That's how many Republicans he needs. That is the majority, but he is going to need a support from really, his margin of error in this is going to be very, very slim here. Republicans gained a narrow majority through the midterm elections, of course, didn't do as well as they had expected. And so we've seen McCarthy over the past several weeks make overtures to various members of his party, people like Marjorie Taylor Greene. He has kind of gotten to his side, and she has been trying to essentially whip votes for him. That also means that people like her and other, so-called backbenchers may have more of a voice in this Congress. The speakership for Kevin McCarthy is no sure bet. He is going to depend on every last vote that he needs. And that's why he, perhaps hasn't weighed in publicly on the controversy surrounding George Santos, that newly elected congressman-elect from New York, who it is alleged fabricated most of his resume, according to reports. He has not weighed in on that because, he does need every last vote to be speaker. So no sure bet. January 3rd will be the first big test for McCarthy.
I have so many questions for you, Caitlin. You said George Santos, and certainly I am on the edge of my seat trying to figure out what is this information that we're going to learn later this week. What could he be saying? Let me ask you about that first.
Yeah, that is something that we are all wondering. He said, of course, that he said last week in a statement that he will have more information this week, but we are not sure yet when that will be. CBS News has confirmed various aspects of that New York Times piece that alleged that he fabricated most of his resume, including where he went to school, his business dealings, and some other key aspects here. So a lot of questions that he says he is going to answer. We're just not sure exactly what kind of venue that would take place in and what exactly he is going to bring forth.
Yeah, like I said, I'm on the edge of my seat with that, but I know I'm kind of jumping around a bit, but I'm just so excited to talk to you about so many different things. Going back to Kevin McCarthy, what happens if he doesn't get elected speaker?
Well, first of all, that would obviously be a huge blow. He is, it is likely that he will. It just depends on what those margins are. And we already have a couple of members saying that under no circumstance, Republicans members saying under no circumstance they would support him. And this just goes to show that even if he is, even if he does garner enough support to become Speaker, he is going to have a very difficult task at hand, because he is going to have to keep his members in line. He is going to be working in an era of divided government, and he is going to have cut deals with, some more controversial names in the party. And so that can give, pretty much anyone in a slim majority the opportunities to cause a little bit of trouble. So a very difficult task before him, one that speakers before have had trouble managing. But getting enough votes for legislation is going to be an uphill battle. And so even if he does reach this first hurdle, or cross this first hurdle, more are to come.
Representative Hakeem Jeffries officially will become the House Minority Leader come January 3rd. So how do you think, Caitlin, he's hoping to keep Democrats united as the new party head?
Well, that is pretty much the first goal of a party that is not in power, is to keep your caucus united, and especially united in opposition. Now, there's going to be little that Democrats in the minority can do, but when it comes to these investigations, they will be serving on these committees. That will be representation, and there'll also be challenges ahead for the Biden administration in terms of implementing some of the policies that they were able to pass over the past couple of years. So this will be certainly a learning experience also for Hakeem Jeffries with this new Congress coming in an era of divided government in which Democrats are not in power. And of course, heading into another election in 2 years where they very much want to get that power back. So setting an agenda, keeping your caucus united also is an uphill climb in some respects as well.
Absolutely. Caitlin Huey-Burns, happy holidays, and thank you so much for your reporting. It's good to see you.
Thank you.